So today we're going to learn how to prove a conditional statement is true or false. So remember from what we learned earlier that a conditional statement contains a hypothesis. So I have this example here. This is the hypothesis. And the rest is the conclusion. So to prove that a conditional statement is true, you have to prove that every time the conclusion is true, the hypothesis is true. So I'll just write it down here. So to prove that a conditional statement is true, you have to show that every time the conclusion is true, the hypothesis is true. Sorry for my writing. Hopefully that's readable. So I have this example here saying if it is raining, the hypothesis, then people will carry umbrellas. So you need to show that every single time people are carrying umbrellas, it is in fact raining. So every single situation, every single case that this happens, that it's raining, that your people are carrying umbrellas, it is in fact raining. So you have to show every single time. So that's how you prove a conditional statement is true. Now, it's not always going to be true, because obviously you do see some people carrying umbrellas when it's not raining. But just understand that to prove a conditional statement is true, you need to show that every time the conclusion is true, the hypothesis is always true. Now, to show that it is false, you need to only provide a counter to show that it is false. You need to only provide one counterexample. So just basically one example. So in this case, we already found one counterexample. You do see people actually carrying umbrellas outside when it's sunny, for instance. That's one situation where, yes, the conclusion is true, but the hypothesis is false because it's not raining, it's actually sunny. So I'm using simple real-life examples to explain these geometric concepts that I'm teaching you. But we are going to get to mathematical examples later on, but this helps you understand it better. So just to go over again, to prove that a conditional statement is true, you need to show that the conclusion is true every time the hypothesis is true. And then to show that it is false, you need to only provide one example, or called one counterexample. Okay? If this was helpful to you, please like the video, subscribe, and comment.